right, another Wicked Publishing stream. Welcome, everyone. We've been gone for a while in the indie spotlight, so we're really excited to be able to shine this spotlight on a really, really talented creator and someone who's got a really unique project that I'm excited to have shared with you guys today. So, of course, before we get introduction into our guests, my name is Michael. I'm one of the co-founders of Wicked Publishing, and we're also joined by Matt.
I just want to say.
Yeah. No bias or anything, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I get it. I mean, growing up, there were always multiple Matts when I was going to school.
Really?
Almost every single class I was in, at least 2 Matts.
And
usually a Michael.
Oh yeah, of course a Michael. You gotta have at least one Michael.
Always a Michael and always a Matt. I don't know if it was, especially for our age. I don't know if it was a 90s thing or what.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But yeah, so we were joined by
David H. or whatever. So
really. Well, speaking of Michaels, we have another Michael with us today. Michael Nunnally, creator of the Omenverse and one of the writers on the Bloodworld anthology that we are here to talk about today.
Yeah. Thanks for having us on the show. Really looking forward to talking about this.
You're very welcome, and of course, we've talked before. As we have a long relationship, but someone new to me who have not gotten the chance or the pleasure to speak to before is D.W. Howard, who's joining us here as the creator of Bloodworld. How are you doing today?
Hey, great. So glad to be here. Honored to be here. Glad Mike brought me in, and I'm really looking forward to talking to you guys. I'm really excited about this, and I love indie, so this is really cool for me because not only do I do this, I write indie comics for another publication as well. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Excellent. Maybe I'll talk about that here as the show goes on. We'll find some more about that. Absolutely. But, of course, the star of the show today is Bloodworld, which is currently running on Indiegogo at this time with 10 days left as we speak. And so we need as many eyes and many backers as we can on this project. And it's a really, really, really cool project. So I'm excited to be able to help share that out today. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
We're actually only 5 days?
Yeah, we're down to 5. Well,
really? Is it only 5 now? Oh my God, really? Yeah. Wow, the time flies, doesn't it?
I'm looking at the site right now.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so we're down to 5 days. My apologies. That's a good correction here.
Real quick, might as well get this out of the way. Do you have any plans to extend it?
I would love to extend it. So yes, definitely. And even I'm not putting the jinx, the kibosh on anything. I'm still, I am very hopeful. But if this doesn't fund, we're gonna turn around and we got other plans, and we will launch a new campaign because Bloodworld is gonna happen one way or the other.
Good.
Yeah.
I love that drive. That's a really nice way to look at it because it really is. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Absolutely, and this is while I've been involved doing indie with other people, this is my first time running a campaign. I learned a lot of lessons, So made a lot of mistakes. So I'm ready to go and fix
nice, man.
For the next time. So
very cool. Well, I'm glad to hear a little bit more about it. So why don't you tell us what the idea behind Bloodworld is and how you created it?
Yeah, sure. So besides being a writer of comic books, I also write novels. I have one out now. Just released a little while ago. And so and I just love creating stories and stuff. So I had this idea for the science fiction setting called Bloodworld, and there was going to be a specific story in it. And that story is one of the stories in the Bloodworld graphic anthology. But I was sitting there and I was doing all this, and I'm already in the middle of a 7-part horror series that I'm writing, and novels are a ton of work. So I'm like, this is just too much. I was like, I've got the whole setting. And I'm one of these people, and Mike can definitely commiserate, who loves to, when I get into something, start world building, it quickly turns into hundreds of pages of just detail. So I had all this stuff, and I created this whole world for this one small story. So I created a giant world for a story that was going to take about that big a part of it.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I started talking to some people I know, and I was like, maybe I could turn it into a graphic novel or something. And they started asking me about the world, and I started telling them about that. And they're like, man, I'd love to write a story in this world that you created. And I was like, well, that sounds like a great idea. And then, so I got to talking to several friends of mine who are in another podcast that we do. And then they introduced me to a friend who introduced me to a friend who is Mike, and then Mike's become my friend. And we started collaborating on this. And the cool part was, as they started writing, they expanded on the world themselves. So I had created this whole thing, and Bloodworld is my baby, but everything that they added just made the baby better, which was really, really cool. And so we came up with this idea for a graphic anthology, much in the style of 2000 AD or heavy metal, something that to me is iconic. For all of us who are science fiction or comic readers, especially from the 80s, those are just iconic titles. And they launched careers. They did incredible things. It's like, when we grow up, when Bloodworld grows up, that's what we would like to be, So,
okay, yeah, I see what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's really the idea of the Bloodworld graphic anthology. It's Bloodworld is the Bloodworld universe, and within that universe, there are 6 stories being told in this first collection, and those stories, who knows where they go? Some of them will end, some of them will continue on. Maybe once we get successful, some of them will spawn into their own single issue floppy series. But as an example, one of the stories in there, we'll definitely have a beginning, middle, of the end, and then we'll see what the writer, who happens to be right below us, wants to do after that. But Mike has created this great Blade Runner-esque type /7 type serial killer mystery in a science fiction setting. Absolutely incredible.
Wow.
So
it sounds amazing.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
I want to mention though, some of the things that really sold me on this when I was first approached about it was the description of the universe. He said it was part Blade Runner, part Gattaca, part Dune, and Game of Thrones.
Oh man,
and I was just
speaking my language here.
I gotta get into that. I gotta be a part of that.
Yeah. I can imagine, man. That sounds really exciting. I love all those influences there. I'm a huge sci-fi fan myself, so I really love to see that. And it really seems like you've taken on a unique angle on with your story. It kind of sets it apart. Like even just looking at the title and the cover, I immediately felt like it was a really unique story that we were going to be getting into.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, each of the stories, one of the things is each of the stories is unique. So I'm writing 2 of the stories in there, and the stories that I'm writing really are the stories that push the larger world forward. And that's not to say that the other stories from the other writers aren't important, because they absolutely are. But a lot of their stories are very focused on characters. And while mine is examining characters, those characters happen to be larger than life people whose actions have a larger influence on the solar system as a whole. For instance, in the cover, right in the middle, is one of my characters, and her name is Queen Isabet Arnev of the Ganymede monarchy. And these people, there's several power structures in the solar system, but she's the queen of the Ganymede monarchy, who are all about transhumanism. They merge technology and into the human body, and that's how they want humanity to proceed. And they have definite enemies in the solar system who have a different philosophy. And the interesting thing is that group is the descendants of religious rebels who were kicked off Earth and were criminals. And then they found themselves on the moons of Jupiter and ended up becoming a power structure hundreds of years later. So, and that's just a little bit about the kind of stuff that we're doing in this, is that there are huge stories that are about what's going on in the solar system as a whole. And then there are smaller stories like Mike's story, which is compelling and interesting, but it's really focusing on some characters within this larger universe.
Okay, and that's where the anthology nature comes in, where each story is going to be telling a standalone thing. Some things may connect and cross over, but some stories are just going to be their own thing.
Absolutely. And one of the things we really wanted to do with that is that we got different artists for the different stories, because we wanted each art style to reflect the tone and nature of that story. So, for instance, Mike's story, he is working with an artist called Brian Wilson, who also did the cover, and he is just incredibly talented.
Really? Oh my god, I can't wait to check it out. We'll be looking at some of the art here soon, I'm sure, and you can take a look at that. But yeah, that's amazing. So each one is a different style.
Absolutely. Wow. We've got artists from the UK. One is in Georgia. One for the Pacific Northwest. We inherited / borrowed an artist from Omen Comics named Tristan, who's out of Nigeria. We have another artist from South Africa. So we
very diverse group. That's amazing.
And check this out. Everybody, I mean, literally everybody from the Omen Comics creative team is working on this book. Yep. Well, me and Steve, Tosin, Guido, the whole 9 yards.
That's pretty cool, man. I like to see that, you guys going in all on this and as a team there. Yeah. And, I know you're a big fan of sci-fi as well, Mike. So I'm sure it felt very natural for you to come over here and start, playing around in this universe.
Actually, it's something new for me because it's
really
not sci-fi. It's kind of crime noir.
Oh wow, interesting. Okay, can you tell us a little about how that works then? How you guys bring those elements into it?
I definitely do it focuses on the main character of the story, John Pearson, and it's also about his partner, Alan McCullough. The focus of the story really is about John, and you get that narrative kind of style through it. You get his thought process as we're going through it. We even toyed around with the idea of doing it black and white to really get that crime noir feel. But then we saw Brian's art. We said, well, screw all of that.
We were gonna go. We wanted to go with the Sin City black and white vibe, which is
totally
color. And then we saw Brian's coloring and everything, and we were just like,
"Oh wow,
the heck with that!"
Honestly, the inspiration came from we had recently done we covered Seven on Cinema Crusaders.
Oh, okay,
right.
It
was a little bit before that, but it really filling out the idea in my head. It started with Blade Runner 2049. Particularly, I don't want to give too much away here, but I will say that it was particularly how they dealt with replicants. That is kind of a focus of the story there, and then I added in the whole idea of that dark, really detective story angle from Seven, and of course, if I'm writing the story, there's probably going to be a serial killer in it. I'm just saying.
Almost like a Silence of the Lambs, right? Kind of style in a sense.
And then one of the go ahead, Mike.
I wouldn't call it Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, really? Okay, interesting.
No, this is really, it's going to be very introspective with the character through the whole process, and it's definitely just straight up serial killer madness going on.
I would say if you want to check out 2 movies that would give you a glimpse into his mind, maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Mike, but I would say watch Psycho and Identity, the John Cusack movie.
So, that's a good one.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Psycho, and what was the other one?
Identity.
So,
really? I've not heard of that one.
Yeah.
You got to watch that, Mike. That's a great movie.
Yeah, John Cusack and oh gosh, I can't remember the other people in it, but yeah, John Cusack is one of the main characters. So Robert D'Onofrio is in it. I mispronounced that name, but yeah.
Robert D'Onofrio?
Yeah.
Not Vincent D'Onofrio?
Was it Robert? No, Vincent. Yeah, Vincent. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Kingpin, right? Am I? Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, that's the same guy.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Oh, that's cool.
This was before that. He doesn't
really.
He doesn't quite have the same look in Identity.
Oh, really?
Daredevil, no.
That's fair. Yeah. That's funny.
The cool part is that Mike's telling this, like you said, this crime noir story, but it's set against this ultra futuristic setting.
That's
probably the most technologically advanced society in the whole solar system, and he really uses the city as a character in and of itself.
Can I tell him about the Delphi Hub?
Sure, go for it.
All right. Me and them actually talked about this a little bit. the Delphi hub is actually like a crap ton of layers. We're talking about 51 layers of levels that go clear from deep into the ground, clear out into the atmosphere. Each one of these levels contains like I was kind of playing off of the mega city idea with Judge Dredd, but I decided to go with Colossal City for mine, because these are a bit bigger than a mega city.
Oh wow.
these are very giant. We're talking like a couple of mega cities packed together on every level.
Superstructures.
Yeah. And we did this really cool thing. Me and Nan were talking about this. There was this old saying they used to have, particularly back in the 70s, I guess probably latter 60s too. But the saying was, don't trust anyone over 30. So we decided to adopt that. The Delphi hub has these number of levels, and it's really a class-based system based on your genetics and your income and all kinds of stuff, right? And so that what's basically anything from 30 up is going to be fairly decent living. Everything from 30 down, it gets worse the farther you go down, until we're talking about full-on like scum agrarian, barely surviving down in the dirt levels kind of thing.
Yeah, hives of scum and villainy. So
yeah.
Literally.
Go ahead.
Sorry. So with the story, with Descent is the name of the story, I really wanted to explore not just the Delphi hub itself with all the different layers and the levels, but I'm even going to explore some of the universe actually. And that's one of the things I love about the different stories in the Bloodworld anthology, is that while they're all very different stories, they all kind of cover a different aspect of the universe. So you really get a taste of the universe as a whole.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of what they've done, like I said, these guys brought a lot of their own creativity to it, which was wonderful because it expanded it. And then the art director and my partner in Raincross, Jeff Bracey, we've sat down numerous times and we've planned out arcs, story arcs, just general arcs for the larger universe going out in 5 years, so we've got all this stuff and we're ready to go. It's just we got to get it out there and get it published. But we're looking at how this all folds together, and we can't wait till readers get to see this and see how these different things, even the small stories, do have some influence on the larger universe. What's really funny is that I haven't even told Mike this before. When he first mentioned the name of his main character, John Pearson, he came up with that entirely on his own. That was the name of one of my college roommates. So,
oh wow,
it was really kind of jarring. So it was different.
Yeah, wow. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh. That must have been kind of. Do you look at the character a little different?
Yes, I do. Although I could believe that he would be that character. So.
And, damn, that's not good.
Yeah, I'll just put that out there so you can all take that for what it is. Looks like you're muted there, or I don't know, or hopefully nothing happened. So,
yeah, you're muted there, Mike. All right.
Yeah, I just share some stuff real quick though. So yeah, so Mike on the on Descent, one of the things that I love that you did was, like me, you love getting into the technical aspects of things, and science fiction nerds, I think we're all the same, is that, it's incredibly nerdy and geeky, but we love the tech specs on stuff. I mean,
Wow.
So
well,
yeah,
we'll come back in a minute.
Yeah. What happened with the so tell them a little bit about the stuff you developed for Delphi, because I think you did some great work helping to develop those tech stuff. So
I really went down to the basics. I was thinking about what the atmosphere on the planet was going to be like. Was there anything usable in the atmosphere that they could use for the Delphi hub?
Yeah.
I had to think about plumbing, and heating and electrical and transportation, and then all the logistics of like building the colossal what is the name? I can't think of the name. The towers that are actually in the city itself, with all of the business in it. You know, I had to come up with basically little mini cities per level, and how that was going to work and everything. And you know, that I mean, just the amount of detail that went into it. I had to deal with the system of air filters for oxygen purification. I had to design layers of the hub that is going to be usable for like growing for like agrarian purposes, growing vegetables and food and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it was just there's a lot that goes into just putting a city together, much less 51 of them stacked on top of each other.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I think we got taken by some sort of demon creature here on Bloodworld, so we had to, go deal with that for a moment.
Yeah. That's all right.
As you do.
I'm quite familiar with that.
But it sounds like you guys having a great discussion while we were gone there.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about the tech stuff that went into the planning and the different things, and how geeks like to geek out, so we like to get all those technical details. So.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're doing a lot of work into put a lot of work into the planning of the city itself.
Yeah.
And
just
I've
been
visuals. Told my script reads like a novel.
One of the coolest visuals from Mike's story, though, in the art is that, the particular faction that he's dealing with is called S3, and they are around Saturn on the moon Titan, correct? Titan?
Yes.
Yeah. And there's a visual where you're coming into this gigantic hub city, and in the background is Saturn, but this hub city rising up from the moon of Titan, and then it's just the visual. I don't know if it's maybe physically possible, but it looks cool. So,
Actually, I'll tell you, one of the things I looked into was exactly the reason the Delphi hub is as wide as it is and the walls are as thick as it is because I actually looked up what it would take to hold a structure this big, at least architecturally speaking. So I don't know. I don't know exactly how it would work with the going up into the atmosphere and all of that. But architecturally speaking, that building could stand.
Very cool. Very cool.
And so before we get into like taking a look at the actual campaign itself and diving into the tiers, is there anything you can tell us maybe about some of the characters that we'll meet in our first stories here?
Sure. I mean, I can tell you a couple of the different characters from the different stories. So one of the stories is called Inquisitor, and it's written by Steve Sellers. And in there is the actual Inquisitor. And I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I've got about a billion things going through my brain right now. But he is, kind of like an old West gunslinger in a future science fiction setting, and he's hunting down what he calls witches, which are really, one of the mutations that has arisen out of the exodus from Earth is psychic powers. And Earth, just real quick, Earth has really become the S-hole of the solar system, and we that planet has been destroyed and is mutating out of control. So anybody left on Earth is there not of their own volition. They basically were either unable or unwilling to leave the planet when the getting was good. So that's one of the characters. And then another character,
if I could say something just real quick there. Steve describes his story as a Neo-Arthurian space Western.
Very cool. Very cool.
What does that mean exactly? You have to explain that one for me, I think.
Are you familiar with like the Knights of Camelot?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So like a new version of that, but like with a space Western, like something like a Mandalorian. So like a Neo-Arthurian space Western. Okay.
Yeah. Or like a Firefly, maybe. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. He's kind of like an independent operator out there in the wilds between two of the greatest factions of the solar system. So it's not really a great place to be, but he's doing it anyway, and we're going to find out why, and it's really cool.
And he has a badass sword. I mean, a badass sword.
Speaking of badass swords, there are two stories set on Earth. One is called
Fellhand.
Wait a minute. Fellhand. I think that's what he called it. I think there's another name for the story, but it stars a character named Fellhand, and you're going to see him in some of the artwork we have. And the people that are left living on the surface of the planet Earth itself are mutated, have all become mutated. And so really this story is kind of like Thundar the Barbarian, and it's really weird. It's like a fantasy story set in a super science fiction, high science fiction setting.
Wow.
And Fellhand found a sword that is old lost tech from what the Terran Federation used to be before it fell apart, and then everybody got off Earth.
So this is like Earth, but Earth has been abandoned, or it's lost to time.
It's largely abandoned. I mean, there's pockets of civilization, people still living in the crumbling ruins of the old Terran Federation, but basically those people are so either decadent or dumb, and I can't put it another way, that they don't even know how to keep up the technology. So it's falling apart. So this is really that story with Fellhand is really about him questing and going across and living in the wastes of Terra and what he's going to find. And there's a lot that's going to happen there. Meanwhile, David Taylor II, DT2, is telling a story called Into the Bloodlands on the exact opposite side of the planet, and what remains of Japan. And this is really a story about the slums outside one of those pockets of civilization that remains, and about the clash between cultures and reality and traditional Japanese society versus a new society that's arising, and it's got Yakuza in it.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
All sorts of stuff. Yeah, it's really
post-apocalyptic Yakuza.
As I understand it, DT was actually the idea was actually influenced by Into the Badlands, was it not?
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually his it's called Into the Bloodlands.
That's dope. Yeah. That's cool.
And then we have Mike's story that we talked about with his main character, Detective Pearson. And then there are two stories that I write. One of the stories is called Family, and it involves the royal family of the Ganymede monarchy. And this story, the best way I could describe it really is Game of Thrones meets Dune. That's really what it is. So you're going to have, it's all about high politics between S3 and Ganymede, and betrayal and war and royal houses fighting each other in a future science fiction setting and everything that goes with it, and it is really the very first scene opens up with one of our main characters, who is the Queen's cousin, named Baron Dominic Chabot, and he is impaling another noble on a sword while piloting his 12-foot battle mech, and a plasma sword that's 8 feet long has impaled this guy while he's ripping out his throat. So
you can't get more epic than that, man.
Yeah,
you really can't get more epic than that. That's freaking epic.
And then the last story is actually a story that was originally going to be the novel, and this one is called Bloodwraith.
Okay.
And Bloodwraith is about one particular Bloodwraith, and Bloodwraiths are the assassins and spies of the Seoul Scientific Symposium, so S3. And they have a particular genetic makeup which allows them to real-time modify their DNA, their genetic code, to do almost anything. They could grow extra limbs, they could grow armor, they could grow weapons out of their hand, their limbs and stuff. They are so powerful that they could harden their body and grow a shell around it so they could survive re-entry from 250 miles up in the atmosphere. Wow. However, every time that they real-time modify their genetic code, there's a chance that they damage their code. And if they do enough damage, they basically just melt into genetic goo. They die. So it's really a win-lose proposition every time they do it. And so we're following this one character, and I'm not going to name him because it kind of gives stuff away, because there were some prequels that I wrote who involved this guy's ancestors. But this one particular Bloodwraith is going to be central into a lot of turmoil and heartache for S3 all of the hubs, including Delphi Hub, and probably John Pearson if he's still alive when the shit hits the fan. So
something to look forward to. Well, that sounds like a really exciting anthology. I love the variety of stories that we're going to be getting. It seems like you're going to see a lot of the breadth of the universe that you're setting up here.
Absolutely.
There's actually a little bit. There's a little bit more you're gonna find in this anthology, which I think is really cool. We all did little side stories that we put in there, like for instance, I wrote a little news article that happens in the scientific symposium there, and other people wrote, right, little stuff like that. There's also like little tech specs and stuff like that, little side stuff that really helps fill out the universe there. And I really think that makes it cool.
What's interesting, you don't see that too much, these days. Like the one example I always think of is like how Watchmen did it, and always, you always felt like, oh, you're getting an insight into the world itself, and it really felt like something really cool.
Yeah, another example is one of the things that I'm having drawn up for the anthology is that I was like, well, one of the big things you see all the time is dating websites or dating apps and stuff like that. S3 is their whole society is based on genetic engineering. So I was like, what does a dating app look like?
Oh man.
That, and so I had someone design a full page ad for a dating app where it's not even a dating app. It's like, find your blood match today, and 3 different people combining their DNA in like a cartoony, almost Fallout type animation to form one child, and it's like, it's very corny that and in that Fallout way, because it's an ad, but it's like, show that kind of thing just to give you insight into that world and to pique your interest as a reader, because you're like, I want to know more about what the hell is going on here. So
I really thought that was a cool idea when Nem approached me with that. I
love that.
It's enough that it feeds your imagination. You know what I mean? Where you can picture this greater world with this little stuff. I love that.
Yeah, that's really fun too, and it really kind of, like you said, it just draws out the world and makes it more fun, and like you're there in the world with it. So I do love that. That's a really clever idea. Now, why don't we go ahead and if you can, let's share the campaign. We'll start taking a look at here and see what the campaigns page looks like.
Sure.
And go from there. So really excited to see some of the artwork. I know we've been talking about some of the different art styles and things we'll be seeing. So that'd be very, very cool to see.
Yeah, I shared it. If you just throw it up on the screen, I can
Perfect. Let me go ahead and do that for you. Let's see here. I think it should be just.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Oops.
Took him out. Man, these technical hiccups all the time. You got to watch out.
Hey.
What's going on?
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Oops.
Technology, it's the bane of our existence. This is the precursor.
Exactly.
We're all living in it. So.
Here we go. I got it.
All right, cool.
Finally.
There we go. Yeah.
So this is the Bloodworld campaign, and we got our campaign video up there, and so you can check that out. It's also on our YouTube channel. You can check that out. We got a couple different versions. But right below it, we have some artwork that we can go through, and then I can scroll down and show you the details. But
and so, do you want to start off watching the trailer?
Sure, we could do that.
Absolutely.
Cool. So, I just want to say before we watch this, my man Nam here made this video.
Yeah. That's my second thing that I do besides writing is make videos and stuff. So let me throw this up there then. And
yeah.
Nice. So yeah, so that's the campaign video that I threw together there and put together, and
that turned out really nice. I love it because you get to see you get to see a lot of the art styles, you know.
Yeah, definitely, and some of that was done before we had some of the art done. So you know, we got some more art to show, but yeah, I could go. You know, it depends however you want to do it. I could go down and scroll down, and we could look at everything, or I could show you some of the artwork and then scroll down. It's entirely
whatever you feel is best. If you want to show some artwork here first before we check out the tiers, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, let's check out a little bit of the artwork. So
yeah, let's see that.
Show us that art.
So yeah, so this is
candy. You know?
Exactly.
This is from Tosin, and was colored by Sandy Crown Studio there in South Africa.
Is that epic or what, dude?
Yeah. So that's pretty crazy, and that's a zoomed in version of the larger, you know, the full page splash panel has ships falling from the sky and the whole thing. So it's pretty crazy.
We got Ghostface Killer over here too.
Yeah. Some crazy stuff.
You know it is. I mean, I love it. The creativity is off the charts here. You know, with this one.
Absolutely. He did a great job. And then this is something that I threw together. I actually did this with Jeff Bracey, and we are one of our tiers. We're offering a military style patch featuring this logo, and this is the official logo for the Blood Wraith Corps. So this is what they wear. So the Blood Wraiths. So, and then this is one of those fluff pieces that we were talking about. That's in there. Those filler pieces. The tech. The geek tech stuff that's also in the magazine, and this is the full art is a schematic for one of the suits, the mech suits that the Ganymede Monarchy uses, the Behemoth class mech suit. So, you know, and you got all the details on there, and you know all the little stuff, the cool little things, you know, for those kids that grew up, you know, liking to look at Star Wars tech manuals. You know, I was one of those kids. That kind of stuff.
I'm the same way, yeah, for sure.
For me, it was Star Trek Tech manuals.
Okay,
I get it.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I was a Star Wars kid myself, so I can relate.
And then this is
John Pearson.
John Pearson. This is Mike's main character. This is some concept art that was done for it. So yeah, these are just concept art pictures that we did before we started actually drawing.
Has anything changed between the concept art to the final product, you feel?
No.
No, not really. You know, I mean, this is straight on. You know, so we don't, you know, we're getting just kind of a standalone picture versus once we added it to the art, it becomes a little more integrated in the background, and it's
gotcha. Okay,
it's not quite
living in the world itself.
Yeah,
it is slightly more futuristic looking.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think you'll see that in just a little bit.
Yeah.
And this is all animated. This is concept art. So this is for Steve Sellers' main character, the Inquisitor.
Damn, that definitely don't mess with that guy.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
And then this is a portrait concept for Fellhand. So that's what humans have mutated into.
Oh God. They ain't looking so good these days.
Yeah. And then this is that queen. This is her uncle, who is central to the story as well. And I can't say much more than that because then I will give away way too many details, which I am fond of doing, I've been told. So.
You're the Tom Holland of indie comics.
Yes, I am.
Well, I got to be at least second place then.
Fair enough.
I reveal things all the time. I want to be like, oh, look what I did! Look.
And then this is a look at the top level of
oh wow,
the Delphi hub there.
That's so cool.
Rising up out of Titan. So
that's awesome. That is a nice shot, man. I love that.
Yeah, guess what the name of that top level is?
Area 51.
Damn straight.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And then I put these in here just because they're cool. This was early art that we got back from Brian, and this was black and whites, and he called these his roughs. I was like, damn, man, if this is rough, I want to see what finished is. So Yeah, but this is
kind of harkens back to how you almost wanted it to be a black and white comic too.
Yeah, it definitely does. It's beautiful like that too. But then we got stuff like this, so this is Brian's artwork as well, and this is from Delphi Hub. And one of the things I think is cool that Mike and I talked about, that Brian integrated in, is that this is an S3 and it's all about genetics. And you notice there on the badge, you've got ATCG from
nice. I was just thinking that. Yeah.
So some cool stuff
there. I saw that movie. I saw Gataga when I was in high school biology.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. Yeah. I love that movie. So it's cool to see that taking inspiration there.
S3 is like Gattaca on steroids, really. So, and then this is some character work for Ari from Into the Bloodlands. So from the Japanese theme story that takes place on Earth. So this was some character work, some concept work that was done by another one of our artists there. So
that same story where that the Japanese style kind of samurai looking dude was on earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So this is some concept work for one of the characters, and we've got more concept work that we will throw up eventually and put some stuff up there. But we got stuff for the futuristic Yakuza. We got stuff for various characters within the Bloodworld universe. So lots of really cool things like that. So, but just going down the campaign real quick. So, we just introduce ourselves. The name of the company, my company is Rain Cross Press. And just real quick, we call it Rain Cross because I live in a town called Riverside here in Southern California. And that's our symbol, the Rain Cross. So, so kind of showing some love to my hometown where I live. So
very nice. I like that. Yeah.
And we did this is another video I did before the campaign video, just introducing the concepts of Bloodworld, what it's all about. And you could look at that. And, we're talking a little bit about each of these things. I
have a quick question before we go on, if you don't mind. I meant to ask you earlier, but you talked about a couple stories being on Earth. What exactly is Bloodworld? Is that a planet or is it a concept? Is it a universe?
I've had this question a couple of times right now. Excuse my language. Not language, my tongue. I'm like freaking out here. Like I said, originally this was going to be a novel, and it was going to be called Sanguis Mundi, which is Bloodworld in Latin. Because Latin always sounds cool. And it was called Bloodworld because it was all about the blood race, the blood wraith, and one particular blood wraith in particular in S3, which is all about genetics and your blood and everything. So I had called it Bloodworld. And then when I created the whole universe, I just named it Bloodworld, so that it was the Bloodworld universe. And if you look at our logo here, you'll actually see, if I point it out, that it's got the genetics in there, but also if you look really close, there's also circuitry there. And so, I thought about renaming it something other than Bloodworld, but then I thought about it, and what this is really about, this struggle in the solar system, is about who is going to dominate the future of humanity. What vision of humanity? Is it going to be genetic engineering, or is it going to be transhumanism, or is it going to be whatever, rampant mutation on Earth, uncontrolled mutation? Are they going to dominate? And so really it is Bloodworld. So it's like, the name doesn't need to change. This is about the future of humanity. And so Bloodworld is the concept and on a lot of different levels. It's Bloodworld based on how humanity is going to change. It's also Bloodworld because these three versions of humanity that exist right now are on a collision course, and it's a blood feud. It's a fight because right now, the way they look at it, only one can survive. So maybe that will change. Maybe it won't, but we will see. But that's really where they're at right now. So in the larger sense, who is going to win out? Which philosophy is going to dominate humanity? So, so that's really where Bloodworld comes from.
Nice. I found it very apropos to Descent as well. The name fits it, especially with the whole genetic connection there.
Absolutely.
I love that they put that in the logo.
Yeah, and you'll find that, but even in in Ganymede monarchy. You know, once we get more into their technology, you know, they're doing things as well. So, you know, they'd like to say that they have their ideologies, but there's crossover, you know, like everything. They borrow stuff from the others and things like that. So, but yeah, like if I keep going down the campaign a little bit, so we got all these cool, you know, we got this cool little explanation of what we're doing and what the Rain Cross is about and what Bloodworld's about. And then we got some more art. And here's one of the cool pictures that Brian did.
That's so nice, isn't it?
Yeah. So this is the one that convinced me that black and white was off the table. So
me too. As soon as I was really leaning into the black and white thing because I wanted to do a proper crime noir. But as soon as I saw this, I was just like, nope, it's got to be color. It's got to look just like this.
Yeah. And so, you know, this character on the right is John Pearson. And so if you looked at the concept art to this, you know, it definitely, you could tell that that's the same person, but living in the world with the shadows and then the way that a character was interpreted a little bit, you know, it does have a slightly different look and feel because they were drawn by different artists. First of all, the concept art was drawn by Jeff, our art director, and then this was drawn by Brian. So that's always changing a little bit. And then just having the character live in the world, it changes not quite a bit, but some. But I think that it's a good representation. I like it a lot. So. Yeah.
No, yeah, it really is, man. And it kind of gives you that vibe of it being kind of like that futuristic with a bit of the Western style.
Mm-hmm.
Very nicely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, totally.
And then this is Jeff's art. So this is Fellhand with that badass sword of his. And people have asked me if this is a dinosaur. No, it's not. This is something called a prophecy bear, which is 10 times worse than a dinosaur. And I will give this away, and hopefully Jeff won't kill me. Prophecy bears are the mutated remnants of bears on Terra, and they've developed psychic abilities. And so besides being able to attack you physically like this, they can reach into your mind and show you images of how you are going to die, which is why they're called prophecy bears. It is pretty horrific. So...
And I'm looking forward to it just because of all that gore. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that big old what kind of, that is a very cool sword. Just ripping into that. I love all the blood splattering everywhere. The hand chopped.
It's like a dinosaur, dude.
Yeah. And I love how his face is all crumpled in like one of those Skeksis from Dark Crystal.
And you'll notice
so
that
gory.
You'll notice he has 3 arms as well. So
yes.
Yeah.
It is really cool. And people always ask me, it's like, this exists in the same universe? I was like, yep, absolutely does.
Hell yeah, it does. That's why I love it. It really, because like you said, it's like the heavy metal, right? It's like you can do sci-fi, but you can also do horror, and you can also do, you know, outlandish tales and all these other things that kind of all come together into one thing.
Not only that, one of the things I'm planning on launching this summer, and it's going to be separate from our graphic novel series, is that I'm a big Warhammer 40K fan, and they have something called Black Library. Yeah, do you know Black Library then, huh?
Oh yeah, Warhammer, man. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm quite familiar.
I plan on advertising, and hopefully I'll get some hungry young writers out there, and I want to give them access to the Bloodworld universe and say, look, write us a story. Write us a series of stories within the Bloodworld universe, novels, and we'll publish them as Black Library, our own Black Library. So, you know. That's
pretty cool. It invites the readers to get in on the experience and be part of the world and create alongside you.
Absolutely.
I'm resisting that urge to share again.
And then this is from the Blood Race story. And what you see here, like if you look right here, this is during a training session. And one of the recruits here, this female recruit, she goes crazy and decides she was at 100% genetic makeup here in this particular page. And to win her training match, she suddenly grew tentacles out of her arms, and she ends up doing 10% genetic damage to her. So that's what happens during the story during this training match. But it's just like this whole page, this whole series of panels is about the danger of using those powers and the fact that, you know, she's basically shunned after that, and people are looking at her. This is our main character here, and he's looking at her in just a disapproval. You know, like what have you done? You know, because it's like anytime you use these powers, there's the possibility that you could just die. So
it's going to backfire.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody has a limited shelf life, except for our main character, who has been a blood wraith for 10 years, and he's yet to damage himself. That may be important. So
it's also some very creative paneling.
Oh yeah, for real.
Yeah, and it definitely has a different look and feel. We went with the almost like I'm going to say late 80s, early 90s X-Men vibe.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was what we were looking for on that one. So
definitely, yeah, it's very dynamic. Yeah. All that, it really emphasizes on the action and the movement.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and then this is where we talk really about what you get in our what we need and what you get when you buy the tiers. So, one of the things that I will say is a challenge is that art is expensive, and we're doing a large anthology, and then we have to print it and we have to ship it. So that's why what we're asking for was much larger than probably your normal campaign. And that's because the book itself right now, as constituted, is 88 pages. So 88 pages of artwork is
large book.
It's not cheap. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's pretty big.
Can I talk about a couple of my favorite tiers real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys got to check out these digital tiers. Check this out. Check out that $10 tier right there. You get let's see, you get the 88 page Bloodworld copy digital, right? But you also get your choice of one of 3 comics from across the indie comics community. So that's really cool there. But I think isn't there also some art in there?
Yeah, you get a free piece of digital art. You get the 88 page digital of Bloodworld. Plus, we've got these. If you look at this graphic right here, we've got these 3 tranches of comics. So all of these comics were donated by other independent creators. I mean, I was so humbled. I mean, that's what independent comics is all about. You could choose one comic from each of these 3 groups. So you get 3 other #1 digital comics for free. So you get 88 pages of Bloodworld and 3 digital comics for $10. That's over 150 pages worth of comic books for $10 digitally.
You can even get a really cool one called Barrels.
Made by someone who may be on the stream right now. That's really cool. I love it because you're right. It's the indie comics community coming together to show support, and that's really nice to see that.
And you don't see that. You don't see Marvel telling Dark Horse, hey, you could give one of our comics away to promote your, it's not going to happen. So
no way.
So
the best tier, I think, but for my personal one, like if I was going to back this project, is the Inquisitorium Writers Pack. That one is badass.
I think that's probably. Because I'm going to be, all disclosure, I'm going to be acting this campaign tonight after we get off the stream. And I think that's the pack that I'm going to be picking up right there. That looks like a nice pack right there. Why don't you tell us what that one's all about?
Yeah, let me throw that. So everything you got in that first pack, you get in this pack. So you get the 88 pages digitally of Bloodworld. You get to pick your 3 comics from the other independent creators. You get those. Plus, everybody who is a writer on Bloodworld has comics available through other companies or things that they've worked on. So each of us donated 1 or more comics digitally to also be thrown into this. So you get all 7 comics to include plus the 3 that you selected before. So you get Blitz, you get OPSEC, which I wrote for ASAP Imagination. You get Dragon Girl Albino Warrior, which is also another Omen Comics. You get Satyr, which is also, since this thing here.
Comics.
Yep. You get Mr. Happy, which was done by Jeff Bracey. You get White Druid and Michael Nero, which is from Revelation, correct?
Omen Comics.
Yeah. And then you get the Nephilim Wars, which DT2 did. DT2 did.
I would like to point out that all of that is only $3 more than that other pack.
And you're getting, and I did the math, you're getting over 300 pages digitally for $13.
Damn.
I don't
can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't think you can get a better deal than that. And I gotta thank Mike from Omen and Revelation and Jeff, and I got to thank DT, and then I got to thank Paul Nolan as well from ASAP Imagination, because I write over there as well. And I told him, and he's been very helpful. And I said, hey, man, everybody else is throwing in a number one. He's like, yeah, you could throw digital number one of OPSEC in there as well. So
very cool.
OPSEC is in there as well. So yeah,
that's excellent.
Crazy cool. And then, so then our other tiers, we have, this is the physical pack, and it is more money, but you get everything that you got from the first tier. So you get the 3 free digital comics, you get 88 pages digitally of Bloodworld, and then you get an 88-page physical copy of Bloodworld, and then a free piece.
That's your meat and potatoes right there.
Yeah, free piece of digital art, and we're giving that for $35. And obviously the reason
that is tempting.
It's more money because we got to actually physically print the book, and then
I'm sure, and it's gonna be with 88 pages. It's gonna be a nice thick book, to something to really hold in your hands. It will feel real good, I'm sure.
We're doing a square perfect bound printing, so we're not doing the staple, we're doing the square.
Nice.
And, just like a trade paperback. So that's what we're doing on that one.
That
makes
it looks really nice. It feels really solid in your hand. You gotta love
it.
Yeah. And then our big boy, this one is a shout out to my graduating class from where I went to school. I went to a military academy, and the class of 94. And I did the 94 Blood Wraith pack. So I created a military unit. And so with this one, for it's expensive. It's $94, but what you get is everything in that first tier. So you get the 3 free digital comics, 88 pages of Bloodworld digitally. You get a physical copy of Bloodworld. You get a sticker pack. You get a free, not free, but you get a canvas print of your choice. So there's choices that you could get. So you get a canvas print to put up on your wall. And then you get a military patch designed by me and Bracy. And that military patch has a unique logo for the 94th Blood Race on it, and then their unit designation as well. So, and the unit logo, or the unit motto for the 94th Blood Race is "Death Rides Tonight." So, that's
gnarly.
That's a cool. It's an actual. I have one. I gotta look. I didn't think to have it with me, but they're cool patches. And they are. Fully embroidered patch. It looks really, really cool. So it's pretty awesome. So
that's your Rain Cross Press pride right there.
Yeah, really. Yeah, and it's kind of like your collector's edition, if you really kind of think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you get that canvas print right now, and we're offering. I believe we're offering 3 different prints that you can get on canvas. You could get the fell hand. You can get if you look up here, you can get fell hand. So this picture on canvas, you can get this on canvas, or you can get the actual cover on canvas.
Wow, that's going to be cool.
Yeah, and we also offer as an add-on, I don't know if you can see it behind me. This is on metal right here. So, and that's
the on metal, the actual cover there, and it looks awesome. Yeah, look at that.
Here we go.
Yeah, baby, look at that.
That's nice.
A little something from all the different stories on the cover there.
And I think we're offering that as an add-on for $60, which, for a metal print, that's not bad. I don't think so. But,
metal print, you say?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's really nice.
But, like I said, though, we know that everybody's time and money is really valuable. So we wanted to definitely offer, value for your money, and which is why we did those 2 digital tiers, because not everybody has $95 plus whatever else you want to throw in there to throw at something. So it's like, we value everybody's time. First of all, please, thank you for your time for watching this, and thank you for your time for backing us. But we know not everybody's got a ton of money, especially now things can be tough out there. But it's like, for $10, we're gonna give you 150 pages. For $13, we'll give you 300 pages. Wow. I don't think you can go wrong with that.
No way. Those are some really amazing digital deals, and I like that you guys are giving an opportunity for people to get in at a lot of different levels.
Yeah, and then the rest of our campaign page, we give brief bios for all of our creators and our artists on here, and then just other ways you could help, and then we put in the covers for the bonus titles and our featured writers titles, so you could take a look. So, And that's our campaign in a nutshell. But you know, it's a sweet tasting nutshell. So.
And you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I can say
amazing.
I'm truly proud to be a part of this. I really think this is something cool, and I can't wait to get it in your guys' hands.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and that's why, you know, there's a lot of people that put a lot of work into it, you know, and we're very passionate about it. And have we, you know, are there things that I've learned during this campaign process? Absolutely. Do I still have faith and hope that we will fund? Absolutely. But like I said at the beginning, it's like one way or the other, Bloodworld is going to, you know, come to you. I'm going to find an avenue and make this happen because I'm confident that all of the people involved with this have done an amazing job. I'm confident in this product. And I know once people get this and read it, they're going to want more, you know? Yeah. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I can totally agree with that. I'm actually going to put the link in the chat now.
Awesome.
So that people can go and take a look at that. You know, people watching live and then on the repeat can go take a look at that. I'm going to go and actually, let's see if I can put that up on the screen here as well.
And I can say, you know, once we get, you know, you get more funders, once we get back, we already have an agreement in place for a stretch goal. And one way or the other, I will say the stretch goal has happened because this guy has come on, this other artist who's going to do a variant cover. He's very excited about the project. It's just the stretch goal. We're offering it as a way to reward everybody once we get funded. Ben Templesmith of 30 Days of Night has agreed to do a cover for us, which is going to be a variant cover for stretch goal. Yeah. So
well, that's pretty amazing. Yeah.
and
one way to put it.
Yeah, that's the only way you can put it, man.
I can share this week that I'm talking to another artist, and there's no agreement yet, but he agreed to talk to me.
Thanks, Lori.
And that's all I can say is he agreed to talk to me, but if he does agree, he will spawn another variant cover.
That's ominous.
And you can read between the lines who that artist may be based on he could spawn.
No. Interesting. The implications, the directions, the possibilities.
Yes.
That's cool, man. That's really, really, really amazing.
But I do have to give.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I have to give all the shout out to that. I've been very fortunate to have been put in a position where I could talk to a lot of these incredible creators over the years through the stuff that I've done with Comic Crusaders, and so those contacts have been invaluable. So
wow, well that's cool. I'm glad to see that those things working out for you there, and as obviously a lifelong fan of comics, as I'm sure you are, for you to be finally doing your own crowdfunder, I'm sure it's a big thing, a big deal for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's there's nothing like when your baby goes out and meets the world for the first time, and it never gets old. That's just a weird thing. It's like every time a new one comes out, I feel the same way.
Wow.
So
in my experience, there are two great moments in making comics. The first one is when you get the art back from your artist and you see your story come to life on the page. The second one is almost as good, and it is when you hold the book in your hand the first time. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, nothing better, man.
And for those of us who are I'm one of those comic fans. It's just I love holding a physical copy of a comic book and smelling the ink and everything. I don't know. I'm told that's not strange. It feels strange, but I don't care if it is strange. I'll own it. I'll be weird. So that's cool.
I've actually come up with a theory that they put some sort of addictive drug in the ink, and it just oozes off the page.
That's how they keep you coming back for another page,
Absolutely.
Just like the old Coca-Cola, they put a little dash of something in there,
Yeah.
That's too funny. Well, yeah, I'm really excited to see what you guys can do with Bloodworld, and and what you guys have for the future. I'm sure, once this one gets out to the world, I'm sure you guys have plans for future anthologies and future stories and more for the Bloodworld. So it seems like there's so many places you guys can take it with what you guys created so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got plans to do that. We've got plans to do some stuff with the Any One World as well, so that we want to kind of join forces with them, which is something imagination.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of
and
stuff
a little
going
crossover
on.
perhaps.
Yeah. It's just a matter of first you got to crawl, then you can walk, and once we're walking, we'll take off running. So,
exactly.
The hardest part is, any of us who have had children before, or have had children, the hardest part is when you're crawling, watching your kid just face plant all those times. Once we get past that face plant stage, we're going to be off and running.
You'll be, that's right. Yeah. Very nice. Well, thank you so much. As we're wrapping up here, I do want to ask you guys, what would you tell some of the people who are considering backing your book at this time?
Well, I would say, give us a chance. Give us a chance. For $10, I don't think you can go wrong. For $13, I don't think you can go wrong. If you want more detail, if you want more information, give us a shout. All of us are so passionate. We will talk to you about it, probably until you want to hang up on us and not talk, or stop looking, take our messages. But man, we will talk to you about this until the cows come home. But I think that you will be very pleasantly surprised by what we're offering. And both in terms of value and in terms of story. And I think that's the whole point, because everybody involved with this project is passionate and they're great storytellers in and of themselves, great artists, and I think you can see that from what we have. And I think they'll love it. They'll definitely love it.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with everybody. I think you're right. I think you're going to love this, and I hope people will take a look at it and give it a chance, as you said. And so, of course, oh yes, go ahead.
I just want to add, I really think that there's something here for just about everybody. I mean, as far as I know, there isn't any romantic comedy stories in here, but I do mean just about everybody. I really think almost any geek fan, science fiction fan, you're gonna love this. Even just fantasy and stuff. There's stuff in here. You're gonna find it, and it's gonna be there for you. You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds really epic.
And I will say, to a person, everybody involved with this, the number one thing I hear from everybody who is on this team, and I feel the same way, it is a business. We do want to be profitable eventually, but our biggest thing is we just want to share these amazing stories in this amazing world with a public, and that is really our driving force, so we're doing this because we love this and we want you to love it as well, so come check us out. Let us get into your veins a little bit, and I think you're going to find us addicting. So,
and it looks like possible rom-com stretch goal if you guys get far enough. So that looks like that could be on the table. Who knows?
Would that be a rom-com fanfic from L.A. Cunningham, perhaps?
Could be. Who knows? Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time to share and talk with us tonight. And the screen, here's the link again for people who need to check that out, and you do. So please go take a look at that. And back at we've got 5 days left, but there is the possibility to extend. So there's plenty of chance to check this book out. But please go take a look at it tonight. And in the meantime, where can people follow you guys on social media?
Yeah, you can follow Raincross Press. We are at Raincross Press on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So we lock that down on all the social media. So go check us out. Or you can go to raincrosspress.com, all one word, Raincross Press, and then .com. And then my personal social media is Nemesis FC2. Long story. That is my account, and that's on Twitter and Facebook. So you can check me out there as well. So
you can find me on Twitter at that little link right there at Nunley Mike. You can also find Omen Comics at Comics Omen.
Sweet. Well, thank you guys. And of course, we're Wicked Publishing. And as ASAP Imagination says, Bloodworld needs to be seen. So please help us get it seen.
Yeah.
Thank you guys again. Y'all have a great night. We'll talk to you soon on another stream.
Thank you so much.
Man, thanks
Have a
for
good night.